Welcome to the Veterans Growing America podcast. I am your co-host, Coach R.L. Simmons. I am here with my illustrious co-host, Donnell Johns, and we have another special guest for you today. We have Miss Kenya Langford. She is the founder and CEO of GeaVance Energy Solutions, and she is also an Army veteran. Welcome to the show, young lady.
Thank y'all for having me. Happy to be here.
We happy to have you. So, Kenya, I know you, but we want to make sure that the audience know you. Can you talk a little bit about yourself and your military experience and background?
Yeah. So let me see where I can start. Um, so I'm not gonna go back into the day, but I'm originally from South Carolina, a small country town, which shaped my future. Um, but I guess it's my Army background. I went into the Army straight out of high school. So I was 17 when I signed the papers. I needed to have a waiver to get in. Um, and I made my parents sign the papers because I said, I'm not staying here. I'm ready to go. So went straight out of high school, left like 2 weeks after I graduated. Trying to think, maybe it was less than that. Actually got sent to training maybe 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes down the road to Fort Jackson. Well, I guess they changed the name now. So you can imagine what training was like for me. I'm looking at the interstate every time we go on ruck marches, trying to figure out if I can just go outside of the gate and go back home. um, but I was a petroleum supply specialist. That was my job in the Army of Station in Louisiana, which was an interesting space. Um, I only was able to do a short period of time just because I got an injury, but I followed into my civilian career the fuel world. So after I got out of the military as a petroleum supply specialist, I got hired in Virginia um, at aviation fuel terminal as an operator. Started as entry level, quickly moved my way up to supervisor slash assistant manager. They changed the title. Right after that, I got promoted. Maybe 2 years after that, I got promoted to a general manager, where I managed the aviation field terminal at BWI. So all that within the span of what, maybe a couple of years. So I think, yeah, that's about me. I don't know.
No, I like you was on there cooking. Let me ask you this though. Although you say you had a short time in service, do you think any part of that time influenced your journey into entrepreneurship? And if so, how?
I would say it contributed, but I don't think necessarily it was like, hey, now I want to be an entrepreneur, because of the military. I think from before I left home, I always saw myself, having some type of business. I think I had a whole plan. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go into this military. I'm gonna get the experience, drive trucks, go do real estate. Oh, I had a big plan. But I don't say that the military say I'm gonna be an entrepreneur just because of the military. I always had that vision to be an entrepreneur or business owner.
It's funny that you say that. Like, what was the thing that inspired you to be an entrepreneur? Was it a family member? Was it something that you saw on TV? Where did the big idea come from?
Great question. I definitely wouldn't say that it was related to any person. I think it was just, I don't know, like a self motivation. I can't say where. I don't know if it was planted in me from when I was a little kid or what, but I just knew that I wanted to have a business. I think it was more so, the environment that I grew up in. It wasn't a lot of job opportunities. It wasn't actually a lot of opportunities at all. South Carolina, especially where I'm from, is like more of a retirement state. So the only way to thrive is driving trucks, doing something in healthcare, taking care of retirees. So I was like, I need to do something else to make sure that I'm secure. And also I saw my family, how they were living. And I was like, hey, I don't want to be living this way. I don't want to be surviving. I want to thrive. So what way can I do that? So I said the business is the next best thing, right? Because control you can control your your wealth and your financial situation. You're not relying on a paycheck from someone when the business can go out, they can go out of business, or they can say, hey, I'm gonna cut your check off or fire you tomorrow. So I think it was, making sure that I was set up for success and having that security.
I mean, you say that now, but we're in an environment right now where government shut down. Uh, you gotta create a income on your own. Are you glad that this is something that you started?
I'm definitely glad. Yeah, I'm definitely glad because, like I said, I mean, I've always, I mean, even on the personal side, I'm like, man, I can't depend on anyone. So I was like, I got to have something so I can be secure.
Yeah, it's just something about that level of independence as a entrepreneur that really drives the passion, right?
Yeah. And I think also, I talked a lot about security, but as I've grown, came more seasoned, to put it that way. I think it's also a space for creativity. I think a lot of jobs, they have their standards and references, which I appreciate, but I think, in order to be your best, in anything, it has to have a level of creativity or allow room for you to be creative.
So now let's get into the business. Can you tell us a little bit about the business and its unique proposition?
Okay, yeah. So the business name is GeaVance Energy Solutions. It was started um, off the, basically me wanting to, one, like I said, I wanted to have a business, but I always had a passion for the environmental and the energy space. I didn't bring that up, kind of going into my background, but even before I went into the military, I had a passion about the environment, and then I always had an interest in, hey man, why are we pulling oil and gas from other countries and so forth? So it's, kind of, I guess fate lined me up to take that job in the military as a petroleum supply specialist because I had no intention of going in, into the oil and gas or energy sector. Um, so any case, and then every time I tried to leave the energy sector, it kept pulling me back, or I kept getting promotions. So I was like, man, it must be meant for me to be here. So as time went along, I was like, man, I guess this is the business for me. I want to be that one, making moves in the energy space on an international level. So my vision was always global, and it currently still is. In any case, like I said, I managed aviation fuel throughout my career, my civilian career, and I took an interest in, how the fuel moved, how operations took place, and so forth. And I said, man, why can't I be the one to supply energy? Why can't I be the one to supply, you know, the natural gas to everyone's home? Why can't I be the one to bring this fuel into the airport and so forth? So that inspired me. And then again, it was the clean. Of course, like I said, I care about the environment. So I wanted to be able to bring clean energy solutions as well. Um, Also, there were policies that were being pushed along, like, hey, let's move everybody towards EVs. Let's move by 2030. Let's move the whole industry to sustainable aviation fuel by a certain time. And I'm like, man, is this realistic? How do they plan on doing this? It's like, we can't flip a switch and make everybody go to EVs. And then even if we do, like, do we have the infrastructure and the demand to do it? Not the demand, sorry. Do we have the capabilities of doing it, right? So that inspired me. I wanted to be the one to actually develop the infrastructure and to provide the solutions for it. So that's basically what my business is. I'm looking to uh, provide affordable, reliable, and innovative solutions. Also thinking about meeting people where they are in the market. So that would be providing traditional energy to people and then helping them transition to cleaner energy.
No, I think that's 100% needed, especially in today's environment. Uh, what are some of the challenges that, because entrepreneurship is the easiest thing that you can do. Um, you know, I'm joking about that anyway. But as an entrepreneur, what are some of the challenges that you face and how did you overcome those?
Hmm. It's a great question because I'm, still overcoming them. Time, uh, financials, of course, especially in this industry. Um, hmm, energy. Uh, as far as like when I say energy, I'm talking about like, hey, being able to keep pushing and working towards it every day. Um, yeah, I think those are the main things. And I think to your question is how it's overcome. I'm still working through it, but as far as time, I learned to just kind of not focus on balance, but alignment. So if it doesn't feel right, or if it doesn't align with values, or hey, if I'm feeling like I have extra energy to keep working past 8 o'clock, then I would do it, not just cut myself off and say, yeah, 6 o'clock is time for me to cut off and shut down everything. But then I have this extra energy to push for it. I think another thing is knowing where to spend my time. When I first started in, business and entrepreneurship, a lot of people say, hey, join this networking group. Come over here, come over there, spend your money here. And I'm just like, I was one of those like, yeah, I need to be everywhere, but you can't be everywhere. And at the same time, it doesn't make sense to be everywhere. Um, and you're showing up everywhere. The people might not be the right set of people to be around. It might just be more noise, in your ear and in your space. So I've learned to align myself, with the things that I feel, I need to be doing, align myself with the right communities and the people that align with my business values as well as my personal values. Um, and as far as financials, that's gonna continue to be a challenge, but we're working through it and just, again, surrounding myself with the right community and you know, kind of building business credit and things like that. So,
No, that's really good because that kind of leads me into my next question. If somebody was brand new and they wanted to get into the energy sector and they're just a brand new entrepreneur, what would be some advice that you would give them to allow them to grow and maybe not even faster, but grow without some of those same growing pains? What advice would you give to them?
hmm, good question. The energy space is broad. A lot of people just think renewable energy when they hear energy. So I would say kind of find a focus point, right? Don't just say, yeah, I'm gonna do everything in energy. I'm gonna sell solar panels. I'm gonna provide oil. I'm going to um, go pull oil out the ground. I'm gonna do everything. I would say find a focus point. Um, learn about it. One of the things they say, learn before you earn. Um, and if there's an opportunity to step your foot and just kind of start off in the space, as far as like while starting the business, I would say take that opportunity. Find a mentor in the energy space. I was kind of blessed to when you know, back in my civilian career as a general manager, I had a bunch of senior people around me that kind of educated me on terminal operations and things of that nature. And even to this day, I'm still working to find different mentors in different spaces. And at some point, they also just flocking towards me, you know. So, and I think it comes when you align with your purpose. But also, I would say, don't just put yourself there just because that's where the money is. A lot of people hear energy, they hear oil and gas, and they think, oh, dollar signs. But everything isn't going to work out for you if that's not your purpose and it's not aligned with who you are.
So as you see yourself in this sector though, like in like the next 5 or 10 years, do you see yourself moving on or to anything different or basically establishing yourself where you are now and just continuing to grow?
As I told you, when every time I've tried to leave, I mean, I just keep getting pulled back. So it's no way that I'm gonna be leaving. I'm just gonna be establishing myself in the space. Whether that be on one sector of energy or another sector, it'll just be mastering my craft and in this space and continue to learn how to make things innovative in this space.
I love it.
So one of Rob's favorite questions, but I'll ask it. What is your business superpower?
My business superpower. Huh, I never thought about that, but I guess it'll be me. Right now,
I'm my
um,
superpower.
yeah, well,
Energy.
one of the well, no, I say that because, I'm a visionary, so I'm shaping the business to be, um, forward thinking as well. And I think that will keep us ahead. Wouldn't keep us stagnant where, you have some of the other, like, let's just say oil and gas companies or renewable energy companies that just kind of focused on solar or they focus on just traditional oil and gas, that means they can't like adapt to different things. So I'm forward thinking and I'm like I said, I'm shaping the business to be forward thinking as well. So, while we're establishing what we're doing right now, we'll continue to evolve with new innovations as well.
So let me ask you this, for a person that um, never thought about getting into renewable energy or oil and gas or, solar panels on their house, uh, tell them why they should consider it.
So is your question why people should consider solar panels on their house or why they should consider oil and gas or what was the question exactly?
Answer any one of those two or both of them.
uh Wow. Okay. Well, I would say I would start with oil and gas, right? Because that's what we've been utilizing for past several years, for I said, well, maybe centuries. But definitely, we need something sustainable, right? And when I say sustainable, I mean something reliable and that's going to keep us pushing. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have right now, where you say, hey, everybody get an EV car, we don't have, if you want to take a trip from Maryland to South Carolina, is it going to be convenient for you to stop and charge your car, right? Or you have to go on an app and try to find the closest space. So I would say still utilizing oil, diesel gas is a good option. And they also have alternatives to gas. They have biofuels. So I think that's a great option while we're transitioning as well, because you can't just flip a switch and say, everybody, we're going to use electricity. Um, and then as far as installing solar panels on people's houses or even buildings or whatsoever else and building solar farms, I think it's a great idea. One, our grid right now is taking a lot of demand, especially with pushing everyone towards electrification and EVs, which a lot of states are doing. Our infrastructure that we have in place is not necessarily reliable, hasn't been updated. So you're opening yourselves up for what they call blackouts, brownouts, those things. And it's also a security, not cyber security, but it's a security challenge, right? Because someone can tap into a grid and knock it out or do things like that. So I think why not be independent? Why not source your own energy? The sun gives out free energy every single day. Even if you go outside as your personal self, you get some free energy for your body, right? You'll come back and rejuvenate. So why not power your home with from the sun?
No, I love that because they need to understand that there's free energy out there. You might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah,
Um,
you're gonna pay for it either way, right? So
yeah,
either you're gonna pay for it from a utility company or you're gonna pay for it some kind of way. So
and you can get paid from it if you're receiving it.
yes, right now at least, before they start changing up laws and stuff. So, at some point, some utility companies are paying back, but there are a lot now because a lot of people have transitioned to solar, where they say, yeah, we're not taking any more energy back from solar panels. So just got to be honest there. Battery storage is kind of where it's going to be at now because you need to store that power that you're getting from the sun. So yeah.
Mm, okay. The reason why we have you on this podcast is number one, you're a member of VGA. You're also a veteran and you're a business owner. So can you talk to people a little bit about being a veteran entrepreneur and being also a member of VGA?
Being a veteran entrepreneur, I'll start there. I would say it is a blessing. I would say there's a lot of opportunities for veterans who are entering into the business space. So there's also a lot of resources. Don't get overwhelmed. I was getting overwhelmed because it's like it's abundance of opportunity. So know which one is right for you at the right time. I would definitely say that. There's stages to business. So, you might need resources at the beginning that you might not necessarily need at the end. And there's some that you need like close, well, I don't want to say at the end, but like maybe further on, like the middle stage of your business, whatsoever else. Just don't get caught up. A lot of people tell you, hey, go and get those government contracts. You're a veteran, go and do this. I mean, yes, it's a great opportunity, but I would just say, you know, just continue, build your foundation up, right? Um, and then when you're ready for those opportunities, then step into them. As far as being a member of Veterans Growing America, I would say it's a great opportunity as well, right? I know I tried to leave, and Donnell said, "What are you doing?" So that was the time I was trying to. I was like, "Man, I'm not doing what I need to do," and I'm like, "I don't know when," but I'm like, I see it as a great space. It's a great, I mean, especially if you are a veteran, right? If you're looking at continue to look for that community, that's the space to get it. They have a lot of resources, and I also like the fact that it's not just business. There's some social events, which I still haven't made it down to line dancing, but it's on my calendar one of these days. And I also saw
Come
they
on,
had
come on
skate.
Friday. It's Friday. You can come
Yeah,
on
that
Friday.
that hike to Woodbridge, that was what gets me. And I also saw y'all having a spades tournament, so that's gonna pull me out the house. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it's opportunities for business, but it's also opportunity to connect with other veterans and have that community that a lot of people look for when they get out, because some people feel like they're isolated, they don't know what to do. And I think Veterans Growing America uh will help you with that, help you forge that path. And I get a T-shirt for being a member. So, yeah, I like that as well, which it took me a minute, but you know, I talked to
we
Donnie.
got we got you.
We
We got you. We worked it
yeah,
on
we
out.
yeah, we got it squared away. So.
So, but first of all, I want to thank you for your time. But before we get out of here, I want to know for the viewers and the listeners receiving this information from you today, do you have any final words for them?
Mm. Mm. What words do I have? I would kind of go back to something I said, right? I would say no. Respect and honor your values as a business owner, and well, I would say your time and your energy and your money, right? It's easy to get caught up and just giving your money away, because everyone thinks that, hey, well, I need to be a business advisor or whatsoever else. They have free resources out there for businesses, if you're just starting up, right? Don't just start spending your money, and then again, don't put your time everywhere. Everybody doesn't deserve your time. Let them earn it, right? But again, make sure it aligns with who you are and what your business is doing, right? Because you could, as soon as you hit networking, you could just show up there, and there's no one in that space that, you know, can even be your client or even be a good referral partner. Now, I'm not saying don't go to these networking events. I mean, go, but just keep in mind, like, hey, where you should be. So if I'm, in the energy sector, I don't need to be, and I'm focused on like commercial clients. I don't necessarily need to be um at the networking event down the road where it's just uh insurance agents or people selling me home insurance. It doesn't make sense for me. So just remember what your values are. Know your budget too, so you don't just start spending money everywhere. And again, respect your time, because that's the most precious thing and valuable thing that you have. And you can't get that back. So I think that, yeah, I think that's what I have for everybody.
That's real. That's real. And again, thank you for definitely sharing that information with us. How can people get a hold of you? What's your socials, website, uh, at everything?
So, right now my website is in development, but it should be launching pretty soon. And right now I'm just utilizing LinkedIn. So just put in Kenya Langford. There shouldn't be anyone else, but just put that in and I should come up, and that's where you can connect with me. Or you can connect with me on VGA directory because they have that space there.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Donnell, how can people connect to Veterans Growing America and continue to support?
Well, the first way they can support is talking to Coach Rob about the things that he does. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do, Coach Rob?
Yeah, I can do that. I get excited when he passes it back to me. Hey, so I am a financial strategist, also a business strategist, but I really want to focus on the financial strategy, simply because we're in that spending season, right? We are in the midst of the holidays, and essentially, I look at the holidays from a financial perspective that it's the 1 month that puts everybody in debt for the next 6 months. Right. So essentially, you're going to be waiting for them taxes to get returned before you can break back even. So let's start to make better decisions around here. And if you need help with a strategy or making better decisions, go to yourmoneygo.com, and then you can go to /events and you can see one of the webinars, and you can join our community where we talk about these things, or you can go to yourmoneygo.com/bookings, and we can sit down and have a one-on-one conversation. I appreciate the platform, DJ, truly do.
Hey, I'm happy to do so. And so let me tell you a little bit about VGA. So first and foremost, we provide a space, place, and opportunity for individuals like these two who have businesses where you can do business with them. And so if you're looking for energy or money, go to veteransgrowingamerica.com, click on that directory, and start doing business with them. In addition to that, we say that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Every last event that we do, everything that we do is actually tied to business, from spades tournaments to line dancing to all of the things that we do is all about business. And so come by our location or our website and shop, baby.
Stop, baby. We are over and out.
All right.